want you to do at the top of your notes is we're going to create a key, and let me show you how to create this key. Okay, do y'all see it says at the top what ideas separate the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist? So just color code it. Here's my Federalist is going to be this color, and then my Federalist are going to be this color. Okay, so color coded, and we're going to be looking at this stuff about why they did not agree on the Constitution. Because the Constitution is going to bring up some ideas that they had in the Articles, and they had variances of it. How it was in the Articles to how it's going to be done in the Constitution. So we're going to be reading, keep your color codes, because I know all of our colors are different. Just keep them in there, because this is going to help us. Because eventually on Friday, when I see you tomorrow, we are going to be going over some quotes that you're most likely going to see on the test. And you have to have a firm understanding what does it mean to be an Anti-Federalist and a Federalist to be able to look at those quotes to identify them. So we are going to look at the following is a brief and general discussion of the few main ideas of the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist. The first thing we're going to be looking over is limited government and rule of law. Both the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist favored a limited government and rule of law. That is, they wanted a written constitution that would restrict the powers of the government officials that would indicate what they could and could not do under the law of the land. However, they disagreed about how much to limit the powers of the government. So get your Anti-Federalist color out. The Anti-Federalists tended to favor a weak government of the United States, such as Congress under the Articles of Confederation. They feared that a strong national government would threaten the rights of the people and their state governments. By contrast, get your Federalist color out. The Federalists, they wanted a national government that could act forcibly to maintain order and provide security and guarantee liberty under the law. So which one wants a weak government? Which one wants a strong government? Which one would like the Constitution? Which one would like the Articles? Okay, now let's move on. Republicanism and Federalism. Both the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist wanted a Republican government by representatives of the people acting for the people. Both groups also wanted federalism, a division of power between the central government and several state governments. However, the Anti-Federalists preferred a kind of federal republic established by the Articles of Confederation. If the Anti-Federalists, oh here we go, get our Anti-Federalist color out. In the Anti-Federalist definition, a federation or confederation, the central government is only a creation of the states, who retain their sovereignty and independence of action. The Anti-Federalists believe that the state governments should have more powers, and that the duties that the central government, because they are closer and more responsive to the people. By contrast, so get your Federalist color out. The Federalists favored a division and sharing of power between the state governments and the national government, in which the national government was supreme with its own sphere of action. This means that the state governments cannot defy or contradict laws or actions of the national government that are permitted by the Constitution. The Constitution, wait, I'm going to stop right there. This is exactly why the Civil War is going to happen. It is this whole thing about who has power, the states or the federal government. So the Constitution of 1787 gave much more power to the government of the United States than it had under the Articles. So get your Anti-Federalist color out. The Anti-Federalists favored states' rights and believed that the Constitution of 1787 gave too much power to the national government at the expense of the states. They believed that the Constitution of 1787 created a consolidated government of the United States in which the states would be greatly reduced in power and importance. Again, this is the stuff that is leading to the Civil War that is being established under the Constitution. Popular sovereignty. Both the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists wanted popular sovereignty, government by popular consent. However, the Anti-Federalists believed, oh, here we anti-federalist color out. The anti-federalists believe that the government by and for the people was best achieved by giving most of the powers of the government to a legislator composed of members of elected people. Thus, they tended to support the Articles of Confederation, in which Congress, the national legislator, dominated the government. By contrast, get your Federalist color out. The Federalists, they believe that the power of the national government should be shared by the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. They also believed that the people, eligible voters, should directly elect only members of their one part of the legislative branch, the House of Representatives. And that is going to be true all the way up to the 17th Amendment, that we only get to elect someone in the House. Today we get to elect our senators because of the 17th Amendment. So the anti-federalists, they feared that the Constitution of 1787 gave too much power to the executive at the expense of the other branches of government. Is this looking aesthetically pleasing to y'all? Okay. A Bill of Rights. This is the main thing why the anti-federalists won't sign it, and eventually this will be added in by James Madison when he is Speaker of the House. So the anti-federalists, so get your anti-federalist color out, criticized the Constitution because it lacked a Bill of Rights guaranteeing civil liberties to the people, freedom of speech, assembly, and so forth, against the powers of the government officials. The Federalists argued that a Bill of Rights was unnecessary because the national government had only those powers guaranteed to it in the Constitution. Thus, the government would not be able to deprive the individuals of their basic civil liberties. Again, this is the main rebut that these guys have. All of this stuff is going to be in our Federalist Papers, and we're going to see that these guys are going to come around, Hamilton, Madison, and are going to write letters. And John Jay, looking at all of these ideas we just highlighted, saying why the people should agree to the Constitution. And you'll see that in question 29. They're going to write letters about all of these ideas about beliefs in the Constitution. But the anti-federalists are going to rebut every single time. And the main rebut is going to be this Bill of Rights. And Madison says, I am going to be Speaker of the House. Well, he doesn't know, but he says he promises to get Congress to do this because he wants to be a legislator. And in this first thing as Speaker of the House, he gets this done. He gets the Bill of Rights added in, which we know are the 10 rights, which kind of look at like the rights of an Englishman, right? Right. How do y'all feel about this? This should have helped you with 27 and 28 on your study guide. So you do not need a